Good morning, crypto world. I'd like to talk today a little bit about my three favorite indicators: RSI, MACD, and Bollinger Bands. Now here we're using TradingView.com and we're looking at the Bitcoin price over the last month. You can see some ups and downs. And how do we know when to buy and sell using these three indicators? Well, let's turn them on. We've got Bollinger Bands, which will put the Bollinger Bands right over top of the price, the MACD, which will put it down below, and the RSI, which also puts it down below. Now I talked a little bit about RSI in a previous video, but wanted to talk a little bit about all three today because these three together can be very powerful. Now in the previous video we talked about when RSI was low or under this dashed line, it usually means it's a good time to buy, or can be a good time to buy, because the coin is oversold. Lots of people have sold it, it's at a cheap price usually, and typically there's a bounce back of some sort. When it's up here, typically means it's overbought and there's going to be a price move in the downward direction. Now MACD is this middle chart here, and what we're looking at are three things: the blue line, the orange line, and this middle 0 point right here. You can see here's 0, it goes up from there, and also goes down from there. When the blue and the orange lines are both headed in the upward direction, it usually means the price is going to continue upward in the near-term future. It doesn't guarantee it, but it's a probable that it will. The blue line is a short-term and moves around quicker than the longer orange line. And what we're looking at is when they are both headed in the upward direction and they're both above the 0 line, that is a great indicator that price will continue to move up in the short-term future. When they are both headed downward and both have now moved under the 0 line, it's a pretty good indicator that the price will continue to move downward. What you're looking for is when this blue line starts to pull the orange line upward and they both cross above the 0 line. That's usually a really good indicator that price will continue to move up after that. Sometimes we will have these moves up like this and then they'll turn back south again before they cross the 0 line. So basically, if they're under the 0 line, generally the price is lowering. When they're above the 0 line, generally the price is headed upward. But again, it also depends on which direction they're going. As long as this orange line is going up and it's above the 0 line, it's a pretty good indicator that it's going to continue up. Now you can see here the blue line dropped under the orange and the orange started headed down. They're both headed down. Doesn't necessarily mean the price is going to head down, as long as they are both above the 0 line. And you can see that's exactly what happened here, is that price kind of went sideways for a while and then it continued back upward. Now the Bollinger Bands will give you a better idea of when to sell if you are holding. I like to use these basically as I look at this middle line and I look at this bottom line, and you can think about these as a stop loss area if you're trying to protect your profits. And what you're looking at is when the price crosses this middle band line, either upward or clearly crosses it downward. Now let's say you bought into Bitcoin a week and a half or so ago when the RSI was low and you bought in, price was low, MACD was basically at the bottom here, and things started to turn upward, right? RSI is headed up, MACD is headed up, it crosses the Bollinger Band line in a positive way, the MACDs both cross the 0 line up, RSI is headed up. Great, you're making some money. That's what we all want to do, right? So how do you know when to sell or when to hold on longer? This is where the Bollinger Bands can help you. Since the MACD and the RSI were both headed up, RSI indicates up here, now we're looking at a 2-hour chart by the way, that it is in an overbought condition. Now sometimes things can stay in an overbought condition if lots more people still want to buy and are willing to pay for a higher price. Doesn't mean the price is guaranteed to move down yet. What we can check is the Bollinger Bands. As long as this price doesn't clearly breach that middle line, it typically will mean the price is going to continue upward. Now you can see here it did breach it, and this is where we use our other indicators. MACDs were headed down, RSI was headed down, but because this was still above the 0 line, I personally would have held. And you can see it crossed again. We had a little thing happen last night where it dipped down underneath but quickly recovered back up. And to me, MACD is still above 0, RSI is still either headed up or above 50, and everything, the price is still above this middle line in the Bollinger Bands. To me, that tells me Bitcoin price is going to continue upward in the short-term direction. I can talk a little bit more about these indicators in a future video, but I'm hoping this will just give you a quick overview of the 3 indicators that I like to use and how they kind of interact with each other, and how you can tell where the price is going, overbought or oversold conditions, and when to hold and when to sell. Well, good luck on your trades today, and until the next time.